Shalom, all praises be unto Yahweh, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to the elect. There's going to be a quick, short video, but still on the topic of race. You know, this is about Moses, man. Moses was mistaken for another race, right? Or another race of people. This is, let me get straight into it. This is Exodus 2 and verse 15. Now, when Pharaoh, just to give a little summary, well, actually, let me read it, man. Verse 11, Exodus 2 and 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. You know, if you're familiar with the story of, obviously, the Exodus, let my people go. You know, the Hebrew Israelites were in captivity under the Egyptians, which the Egyptians' names are Metazarium, right? Which would be these modern, which would be today would be the people of Sudan, mainly South Sudan. I think they're called Watutsis. Very tall, dark skin. Yeah. That was their, how do you call it? That was one of their main features. And you can see in the Egyptian pyramids how they look very dark, almost blue, very tall, big. They were once in power, man. They were once, you know, the people who everybody used to reverence, man. And people still think about them to this day, but the Lord destroyed them, man. But anyways, and it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, yeah, his fellow kinsmen, you know, people of the same race as him, brethren, brothers, and looked on their burdens. Yeah, so Moses was thinking like, this is wrong, man. What my people are going through. Yeah, getting oppressed, getting whipped, getting abused. And he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. See, so he's not an Egyptian; he's a Hebrew, right? A Hebrew Israelite. Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way. So he looked around, right, and seeing if no one is watching him. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. He buried him in the sand. So he did that for his people, right? So that was, you know. Anyways, verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, two men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou that fellow? And he said, who made thee a prince, a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. So it was known that Moses slew the Egyptian. So he needed to get out of there. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. He wanted to, you know, Pharaoh, the one he grew up with, he wanted to kill Moses because he killed the Egyptian. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now this is where it starts to get interesting. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. So Moses was being, you know, what people in the world would consider a gentleman, very helpful, friendly. Verse 18. And when they came to roll their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? So their father was telling the daughters, wow, man, you guys came early. I was expecting you guys to take a bit more time. How is it that you came so quick? So they explained. Verse 19. And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. But the daughters called this man, Moses, an Egyptian. Now, fair enough, he may have wore Egyptian garments and clothes because he was living there, jewelry and stuff like that. Fair enough. But guess what? Moses was not an Egyptian. He was not of that race. He was not of Ham. Right? Let's look at the name Moses. Sorry. Pressed the wrong one. Which is Mashah, drawn from waters. The prophet and lawgiver, leader of Exodus. The Israelite lawgiver, I'm telling you he's an Israelite. You see here, Moses, the great leader. I can't see that word. It says, and prophet of the Israelites, the son of Amram, the tribe of Levi, whose actions are rated in the 4 latter books of a Penta. Yeah, can't really read that. It's a bit cut off. But yeah. Just says it there, prophet of the Israelites and tribe of Levi. Levi is one of the tribes of the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel. So he wasn't an Egyptian. Yeah. Yeah, going back to the genealogy of Shem, as you follow down the root of Shem from Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Ro, Sarug, Nahor, Terah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israelites, man. That's where the line Moses is from. He's not from Ham. Remember again, Ham, the younger son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. Yeah? So Moses would be considered a so-called Negro, right? Because he's an Israelite, right? And of the tribe of Levi. Tribe of Levi would be the people of Haiti. Yeah, but it says dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, which the other race was, that he was, mingled with, or where the Hebrew Israelites were oppressed by the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. You see? So we're not the same as the Egyptians. We're not the same as those other dark races, even though we may have similar skin complexion. That doesn't mean anything. What matters is your lineage, the line of your forefathers. Yeah? So even Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian, which is a dark race of people. So it proves that these people that are calling themselves the real JEWS are not the real people, right? Because the real Israelites are people of color. Now, however, obviously due to the curses and biblical prophecy of us being scattered everywhere, different Israelites are gonna be looking like different people of different races, man. Which is in the scriptures anyway. Isaiah 11:11, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. So our people are outcasted. Our people are scattered. And gathered together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of earth. Right? So our people are scattered. So we're living in different countries, different places, different societies, around different cultures. A lot of our people are worshipping different gods and idols, man. In a confused and lost state, a lot of us. Yeah. But nevertheless, there's Israelites everywhere, literally everywhere. Any country and continent you can think of, there are Israelites there. Scattered, man. Through enslavement from the past, right? Migration. Yeah. But yeah, scripture proves that Israelites are scattered. But yeah, the main point was Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian, you know, a dark race of people. So that should tell you that the Israelites are originally, still are, a people of color, man. Anyways, with that, shalom.